Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're digging into a really big question. Why is religion necessary? The source material we're exploring has an answer that might just surprise you. So, let's get right into it.
Right off the bat, our source material challenges a huge idea in our modern world. I mean, we're all told to chase happiness, right? But what if that's missing the point entirely? What if just trying to feel good is actually a distraction from something way, way deeper?
And this is where things get really interesting. The argument here isn't about whether you're happy, but about the kind of happiness you have. The source calls it a quality of happiness. So, what on earth does that actually mean?
Okay, let's break this down. The source basically lays out two different paths: simple happiness and this other, more complex quality happiness.
So on one hand, you've got simple happiness. This is pretty much what it sounds like, getting the things you want, like possessions, success, all that worldly stuff. But then on the other side, there's quality happiness, and that's described as a much more balanced state, one where you can actually fulfill your truest potential. And you can see this contrast play out in a really fascinating way across the globe.
The source points to this kind of global paradox. In a lot of developed nations, where you'd think simple happiness would be easy to find, there's often this deep psychological imbalance. And then, in places with less material wealth, you sometimes find that the framework of religion has introduced a more complete and maybe even a more resilient idea of what it means to be truly happy. So, to boil it all down, one path is just about scratching an itch, satisfying your wants. The other is about the much harder but way more rewarding journey of fulfilling your real potential. And that big difference leads us straight to our next question.
So this brings us to what the source calls the price of freedom. If this quality happiness is so important, why isn't it just easy? Why do we have to struggle so much to find it?
It's a fair question, right? I mean, why is struggle even part of the deal? It feels like there's a system at play here. Well, the source material gives a pretty bold and direct answer to that. The thinking here is that our current situation, it's not some cosmic accident. It's not a bug in the system. It is the direct result of a very specific choice, a request that was made and then granted.
And here it is, the absolute core of the argument. The source claims that humanity itself asked for free will. We asked for the right to act freely, to follow our own desires. But getting a power that immense, well, that comes with an equally immense responsibility.
And look, this freedom, it's not just the freedom to do good things, it's a total double-edged sword. It gives us the power for incredible love and help, but also the power for incredible harm and destruction. And a power that big, you can't just leave it unguided.
Which leads us to the solution presented in the source. If we have this incredibly powerful, even dangerous freedom that we asked for, how are we supposed to handle it? Well, we need a standard. We need a guide.
And this completely reframes the whole idea of religion. It's not presented as a bunch of random rules to restrict us. Instead, it's positioned as the necessary user manual for free will, the guidance we need for the massive responsibility that we chose to take on. So let's just trace the logic here, step by step. First, we ask for freedom. Second, that freedom creates this huge responsibility. So third, guidance is provided to help us handle it. Fourth, with that guidance, we can act justly. And finally, fifth, through those just actions, we can achieve that true, potential-fulfilling, quality happiness. It's all laid out as a clear path. Now, this is a really, really important point. The goal here isn't just blind obedience. The source makes it clear that this guidance is meant to help us grow from the inside out, to develop self-awareness, to overcome despair, and to figure out how to fight for something truly meaningful, like sincere love. It's all about becoming mature. All right, so let's pull all these threads together. We've talked about quality happiness, we've talked about how our struggle comes from the choice of freedom, and we've positioned religion as the guide for that freedom. So now let's get a direct answer to our big question.
After all of this, what's the bottom line according to this text? Why do we need it?
And there it is. This one sentence really sums up the whole argument. Religion is necessary to obtain guidance for living a just freedom for the sake of the happiness of sincere love. It's all about using our freedom the right way, the just way, so we can achieve a happiness that's rooted in something real.
So the final takeaway is this. Religion, from this point of view, provides the essential standard we need. It's the framework that lets us turn our greatest and most dangerous power, our freedom, into our greatest and most profound fulfillment.
And we'll leave you with this last thought to chew on. If our freedom is so powerful that it actually requires a guide, what does that say about what it truly means to be free in the first place? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.